Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Marvel Comics Podcast Star Wars episode. That means I'm here with my man, Matt. What up, Matt?
What up, Jim?
What up? And here we have the Darth Vaders. I was actually thinking we were going to have two books this week because we didn't have one last week, but we just get Darth Vader, which is fine with me. It's a very quick issue, and it continues the idea. I have a little theory about what makes Darth Vader tick. By the time we're done here, I think we're all... And it's something that almost is like right in your face, and I never really thought about it, but it kind of comes in play here. But This is the Darth Vader number 32, written by Greg Pak, art by Abram Roberson, colors by Federico Blee, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Here is the crawl. Handmaiden no more. Oh, my. Following Jewel Tambor, and I always interrupt myself in this, but the idea that we're centering on Jewel Tambor for this many issues, very odd.
Yeah,
very odd.
Definitely.
Not something that I'm going to remember down the road. Like, oh my God, Matt, do you remember when we dealt with Jewel Tambor? And I'm telling you, he gets away at the end. This guy's coming back.
He'll be back.
He's coming back with a vengeance. Following Jewel Tambor's kidnapping of Sabe, the remaining former handmaidens of Padme Amidala formed an uneasy alliance with Darth Vader to stage a daring rescue. Throughout the battle against Jewel's droid army, the handmaidens realized that they were simply being used as Vader's pawns so he could rescue Sabe and fully immerse her into his dark machinations. Now, Sabe must decide if she is to remain loyal to the Sisterhood of the Handmaidens or join Vader in his violent crusade against Jewel Tambor. And so when you get this issue, I really thought that this was the out for Sabe. I thought that we might have some sort of, nice deal. Maybe have Vader shed a tear as he's looking out a window and one tear goes down his mask. But there's a twist, and it seems as if Sabe is going to stay with them and then suddenly is able to command the Imperial Army, which I think that the one commander would have had an issue with, except Vader tells him, but that's how it's going to be. But you end up starting out where the other handmaidens still do not believe that Sabe is, with him. They keep, even afterwards, they kind of think she must have some plan, but they're really sad anyway. But you end up where, we can't serve you, Vader. And this is all the other handmaidens. We can't do this. You're sus, Vader. And he basically says, listen, and almost what he says to Sabe anyway, if you want to do what you want to do, you could do it better with me.
Yeah, you need me.
And so, join up. And the idea, you get that little play as we go on. Vader wants order. We've said this all along.
He loves it.
Yeah, and there's the part where Sabe says peace and he corrects her. No, order. I'm like, ooh, that you get out of there. Get out of there right now. But you end up having this thing here where Darth keeps doing this. Hey, come in my service. And he reaches out. He gets left hanging so many times. This is what I think is his problem. He's like a little kid who has a birthday party. These always make me cry. Those YouTube videos are on Facebook. My son's party and nobody showed up. I'm telling you, I cry rivers with that. Just thinking like, it's this kid's like best day. I invited so many people from my class and nobody shows up. But luckily, most of that time, you end up the fire company in town. I don't know why it is, but it's usually the fire company shows up and ends up going, well, no fire company for me. Because one of the big things is I did have a party once.
And nobody
came? The only
came?
time one person showed up. I invited so many people. One person showed up and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think that I was that kid. So when I see those, I get upset. And then I'm telling you, I went to school that next week and there was hell to pay. I wasn't like one of those timid kids where like, I was pissed. I was really mad. Plus, when this happened, my mom wasn't like, of course, we didn't have Facebook or Twitter at that time, but my mom wasn't nice about it. She ended up attacking me about it, almost calling me a loser because she spent so much money.
Just on the cake and the food and the party. Yeah.
And
you're a loser.
My dad was a big guy. I think my dad like walked in. It's like one of those sitcom series. Walked in, whoop, he grabbed the cake and walked out.
He's probably happy. It was all for him now.
Oh, yeah.
How old were you for that? Like 10
I
or
think
something?
I was like 6 or 7. Again, let's tie into the thing. There was a part of my life where Star Wars was the thing that then later, because we moved then anyway. That was like the year before we ended up moving. So I got, not that we moved because of that. Like I killed a kid. No, it just, we were moving. I don't know. I just didn't get along with people. I guess. I don't know. But you end up having Darth sit there and say, come in my service. And then he seemingly is thinking back to all the times people have left him or people wouldn't join him. You have, Amidala. You end up having Luke, his son. They're not joining him. And he's like, all you need is somebody to just reach out and grab the hand. You almost had it. But then you end up where the handmaidens kind of stop each other. Mm-hmm. No, we got to go because, they grab Sabe again and go off. So that was the big thing. She was going to join, and maybe he would have been a little more chill. He would have been nicer. Can you imagine, like, all the stormtroopers, and they're like, man, what's up with Vader? He's being real nice lately. He hasn't killed one of us.
Like he's buying people cars for gifts.
Oh, yeah, he's there. It's almost like, Tom Brady buying his offensive line watches. He's going around handing out gifts to the stormtroopers. Oh, I want to see that. But you end up where the handmaidens grab Sabe, so she can't grab on. He's left hanging again, and he's pissed. I do like this, though, that they have these anti-grav units.
I've never seen that before of you. You just have to have it on your body.
Yeah, I guess you just boom and put it on. It's very, like, old school, like 1950s, like Pulp Fiction type deal. And I don't mean Pulp Fiction, but you end up where, they're flying away, and then they're like, okay, we're going to do this, but Jewel has to be stopped. We'll do it together, Sabe. We're a team. We're a sisterhood. I don't think so. And she ends up unhooking her deal and, falling down. Now, as they're going, they're flying up towards the ship, and it's the greatest when they get there. But as they're doing this, Sabe's falling. Stormtroopers are shooting up at the ship and the other handmaidens, and you would figure that she's counting on Vader being there and saving her. And he does. He uses the Force. It's awesome. That page is so good when she comes down and her robe's going. It's so neat. So you end up where he does save her, and they say, he says, leave the others, ceasefire, stormtroopers, and we're going to
get out of here. Those stormtroopers weren't hitting anybody. Come on. I mean, so many bullets missing.
Sabe's falling. You could almost say that they're trying not to hit her, and then that wouldn't allow them to hit the other girls because they're like kind of right above her, but I don't know why they wouldn't be hitting Sabe at this point because they have no idea. But seriously, I don't want to be the stormtrooper. Actually get some aim for once and hit Sabe. You're in big trouble then.
That would be crazy.
Luckily. I think they're just like, they don't really have their hearts in it. And they've all agreed that they don't want to kill anybody. So they're like, let's just keep playing this idea that we have bad aim. I like also the idea of their clones. The idea they just clone bad aim. But yeah, Sabe and Darth Vader go off, and then we see that ship that was coming in. It's Ochi. And it makes sense. I forgot that Ochi was part of this whole handmaid's deal. And remember, Ochi wants Sabe and the handmaid. He doesn't care about them. He doesn't like them. He wants them out of the picture because now Vader doesn't pay attention to him. That's pretty much, the whole, all of this ends up just being almost like elementary school, friendships and drama is what this whole book is about. Ochi loses his mind because he's like, what? You were supposed to rescue Sabe and leave, and I was never supposed to see you again. What's going on? And he's like, you had a sisterhood. What's going on? I thought you were bonded forever. And they're crying. And they're like, so did I. And I like when we get some of the names because I'll have to admit, I don't know all the names, but most of them are like, hey, what's up, Rabbe? I don't know, Sache. You end up where it does make me giggle where they're just, rhyming together. But they don't understand. They are really torn apart here. And Sabe was loyal to her queen. And, I don't see what's going on. She must have a plan. This must be a deal where she has something, but they kind of just have to go. I mean, what are they going to do about it? If Sabe goes with Darth, you can't just run and grab her again. She must be up to something, but, pretty much I don't think they're ever going to see her again. We might see something nice where she gets away from Vader and, oh my God, I didn't think I'd see again, but it almost looks like they've gone their separate ways. This whole thing is kind of done and let's, go and hide.
Yeah, let's move on.
So we get the whole thing with Jewel. And we saw before that Sabe seemed to be like working both angles. This felt weird because you end up, first off, we get that deal where they're on the ship and, the commander, what is your orders, Vader? And he's like, no. This is Commander Sabe's mission. And I'm thinking, This poor guy went through military school. He ended up probably in so many battles. All this to get here.
Yeah, he's a 25, 30-year veteran, this guy.
She's like the Yoko Ono of the Imperials. All of a sudden, she's going to be like leading the deal. They're like, oh my God, like Vader's girlfriend? Why did I go to school for this? All I had to do is, get Vader's attention. And so she says, okay, we're going to do this. How many lifeboats? And she's doing it a little different. Says, okay, we have Tambor's gunship. How many people are on it? Well, we don't really know. That's something we don't check into. Well, check into it. Well, there's some people. All right, prepare my shuttle. And you end up, they say, life forms. We see the ship and we blow it up. But she's going to go and do something. So she lands down and talks to Tambor. And this felt weird. It ends up because it's a dupe. But still, I'm thinking, first off, Vader has to be listening in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might be a private channel, but how private can it be? She's talking on an Imperial ship. And so she's like, hey, you know what we said? I'm setting this up. You're going to kill Vader. But, there is the Empire's holding some captured refugees, your people in the village. So I'm going to draw Vader out of the village. Once he's clear of these refugees, then I'll give you the coordinates and you blow it up.
Yep.
And at that point, there's a stormtrooper like eavesdropping. He looks really like he's sneaking in to listen. I'm like, oh no, this is not going to be good. Like, I really thought that by the end of this issue, Sabe in some way would be gone, that this was going to be it. I haven't read the future solicits. So when you end up where I thought, okay, she's either going to go with the sisters, which she didn't, or now, oh my God, Darth Vader's going to have to decide. And what's Vader going to do when he's pretty much going to have to kill what looks like his wife, his dead wife? So I was really like, okay, this might be interesting. But that stormtrooper doesn't say anything. He's learned his lesson. He's just back there. And the whole play is Tambor knows, okay, Darth Vader's in this village and a bunch of Imperials, but these refugees are there. They have captured them. So I'll draw Vader out so those refugees don't get killed. Tambor just presses the button and blows up the whole village.
Yep.
And I thought he was just actually going, I don't really know exactly how many people there are of his people, because I thought he was just going to play the idea, well, the few for the many, but he kind of just like, I had the chance to kill Vader and because when Sabe says you killed those refugees, how could you do that? And he's like, I don't care. I killed Vader. Now I can rule. I didn't know you were wanting to rule. Well, what did you think I want? My grandfather, he did this. And he's just a power-hungry guy who was using, or think he's using, Sabe to do this. It was a dupe. The refugees are with Sabe. Now, to make it worse, I didn't even realize this because I'm going through this to read it for the podcast, but there's a little baby refugee too. Like, they had to throw that in that he killed.
And they're
a baby.
watching him like congratulating himself and cheering and stuff.
He's talking crap, and
he's talking so much crap.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, they're nothing. That baby, he didn't know better. So that's the whole play. I still get the feeling that they'd go with him, though. I don't know why, but they look like they look beaten down or something. They look at, even then, I said to you, it's like almost because he says, the people will follow me because that's what they know to do and that's what they've always done. I'll be nice enough, but and then when she's like, oh, I have these 12 refugees, I'm like, he's like, oh no. I'm like, that's just 12 people. Like, that's not that many. Then I'm thinking, do you only have 12 people? I mean, that's not much of a, deal. But it's the play of, oh my God, they'll go back and talk to people. And then at one point I thought that they just left the planet, but I guess they go back and they're going to spread the word. And then you do more. They end up wrecking a bunch of Tambor's stuff. They cut off his funds, which they should have done before anyway. And so he's there out all alone.
They kill all his droids.
Yeah, all his droids, including, the one guy. He did that round. He keeps getting cut in half and he's not again. It made me laugh. I wanted the one. It's a living as you go. But yeah, it's one of those things. Tambor gets away at the end. Darth Vader says you should have killed him. He got away. And I'm like, really? Like, why didn't you?
He'll be back.
Here's the thing. This is the Star Wars universe. Bad people can die. You don't have to be nice to everybody, right? So, yeah, he'll be back. And
I guess because if they killed him, he'd be a martyr is what they said.
Well, they say that, but at this point, it's already been established that he was a piece of crap. So I think that doesn't really go well there. But you end up where the big play, and I actually thought of it too, while you had the sisters there, while you had the handmaidens, they're like, you can't go with Vader. All she had to do was say, that's actually Anakin. Like, that's Anakin, and Darth Vader did not kill Amidala. This was all something that we misunderstood. Come with me with Vader, we'll work it out. Mm-hmm. But she didn't tell him. She didn't tell him, and it's one of those, again, it's almost like one of my favorite tropes. Get out of here. I don't want you around. And then as the person leaves, they're crying because that's for the best. Like, she let those handmaidens go. Don't ever come back. Don't worry about me, because she doesn't want them to be in some life with Darth Vader.
No.
Sabe knows this is...
She's sacrificing herself to save them, is what she's doing.
I mean, at this point, I really do think that, and she says to Vader, we'll get to that, but I really do think that this is almost like a long con suicide mission for her. She's going to make sure she sets some things right, thinking that at any point she could probably get killed by Darth Vader because of how bad he is. But she says, I know my sisters will always think of me with grief, because she did not explain. They're worried. But she says they'll get back to their lives. I like at this point, I guess it's one of those things. If one of us leaves, we're all done. It's like Led Zeppelin. John Bonham, unfortunately, dies. The band breaks up because they seem to, like, this handmaiden stuff's done. Sabe's with Vader. Let's go. She says they'll get back to their lives and their loves. And then she says, like, a last dig at Vader. This way, only one of us has to lose their soul. And you get sad Darth Vader. This is the thing. You just had the one person who came to his birthday party as a kid and says, I only came for the ice cream, and then leaves. Like, that's it. And he's so sad. He freaks out. And she does. Like, she walks out. She's dejected, and then has that, all right, I have determination now. I'm going to go with my plan. That's done. I think she's also screwing with him. But then he goes nuts. He goes nuts, and the whole ship starts just ripping apart because he's so angry, which is pretty badass. And then he's there, looking at his hands, all pissed off. Who he needs? He needs Ochi.
Yeah. Ochi helps him out.
Ochi ended up getting so much abuse, and still, we said he's a toady. He ended up liking the power he had with Vader. Yeah, he liked to be seen with Vader. But he had the same play. Nobody likes Ochi. So he seen him and Darth Vader had a little thing going.
Yeah.
And Darth Vader, but again, though, Ochi he can't help himself. He keeps screwing around. But again, when all this goes bad, I know that Ochi's going to be there to say to Vader, I told you, I tried to get rid of them. Like right now, if Ochi gets caught, oh, you did this with the handmaidens, you did this. He's like, no. I knew you were going to get pissed, so I got rid of him. Ochi's pretty good on his feet, coming up with lies. Yeah, he just come up with something, and I think that's what it would be. The idea that, hey, they're no good for you. I knew that they were up to, but I'm your friend. Let's go, buddy. And off they go. Ochi's the true friend. But
Darth likes having Ochi around because he's like better than him. He's slightly better. So he always
slightly.
looks. Yeah, I mean, just take his mask off and he looks better.
Here's the deal. Vader, he ain't pretty either. And
no,
then again,
but I think he's still prettier than Ochi.
I think that the idea, like they go to eat and Vader takes his mask off and then Ochi does, that neither of them can laugh at the other because they're both hideous. So they probably can just hang like, thank God, I can be my true self. I bet you Vader is nice to Ochi when nobody's around. Like I'm saying, they're like sitting there watching movies. He'd be nice to Ochi, but when Ochi and him are out and about, Ochi takes his abuse constantly. And then just keeps scurrying back. But yeah, the thing is, we laugh at Ochi. He definitely is one of my favorite characters in all these books. We love him, right? Mm-hmm. The thing is, we said it before. You lose track of the idea that this is the big Sith assassin. Like, this is a guy who shouldn't be a bumbling idiot. He should be but there he is. Yep. So Ochi being Ochi, going off and doing his thing. But you end up having the next issue. Darth Vader number 33, where you end up having, Amidala looking Sabe. She's in the Queen outfit, the Queen of Naboo outfit there. And I'm just thinking Darth Vader likes to play dress up. I'm thinking the idea where, is this going to be where Sabe, I know it's just a cover, but I think Sabe is going to start really screwing with Vader. She's just going to start wearing all of Amidala's outfits. And like,
probably.
Hey, Vader, what's up? And, what are you doing? Like, he'll get so fired up, but it's fun. I like this book enough. I say enough. This is one of my favorite books that we have out. I think this is actually past the Star Wars. The no space stuff, we got to get no space out of here and get to some bigger things. And even with the Tambor stuff, I do like seeing Vader. And when Ochi, he's losing his mind up in that ship. I thought I was rid of you. It made me laugh so much. So I'm going to I'll even give the score first. I usually
go ahead.
I'm actually giving it an 8.5. I actually like this issue. It's very quick. The art's great. And, I don't know. I had fun throughout. I really had fun with a bunch of things, even sus things like, oh my God, he was going to kill a baby. Like, that was pretty funny. So what would you give it?
No, I'll match you on that. That's my feeling. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We keep saying stuff, and we said it, and I just did. The Tambor story doesn't feel as big, but you have the Sabe, that's big. And at least in this, Vader is doing some stuff. He's walking around. He has the lightsaber going at points. So I really like that. So yeah, this has leaped over the regular Star Wars.
Definitely. It's the best. It's consistently the best one.
Yep. It's my favorite. And the June solicits came out, and I did peek at them for a second. I haven't read them. I'm going to do a podcast on them, but I keep waiting for Afra to kind of finish up. But that's going to keep going.
Yeah.
And every time I do look at any of the solicits, that book can't even get anywhere in its own story, let alone that we want all these books to get closer to the Return of the Jedi.
Next issue of Afra has Vader on the cover, it looks like.
Yeah. In that, I think the June thing did end up saying that Luke is going to be hanging with Afra at some time coming up, and the big tease in that was, and then they go, and who do they see? Vader. I'm like, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. Mm-hmm. Because we've been wanting Afra more than just seeing him at the whole, let's bid on Han Solo or the bounty hunters deal, and she got out of there. We actually wanted to see them kind of face to face and see what happens. So
I'm waiting for the live action Afra, or the movie, or the TV show, or the cartoon.
She's such a great character,
so perfect for that.
Such an easy one to think. Okay, it's the Indiana Jones in the
That's
Star
all you
Wars
gotta
universe.
Do. People would love it.
So great. It's so great. Yeah, they would. I haven't watched a lot of the newer things. I usually get to it later, but I'd watch an Afra show as it came out. I love the character so much. That's why when we talk about that book, it's starting to really upset me that we're not getting the coolness of the character in it anymore. Maybe Alyssa Long will get back to that. Maybe somebody will whisper in her ear. Maybe somebody's listening can whisper in her ear and let them know. But yeah, we'll be back if there are books next week. Each week when there's the main books out, we'll go. And just another aside, this is the 40th year anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So you would think that as this goes, you would get to Return of the Jedi, so you can kind of take advantage of some things with that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But me and you like this. We're starting to get more fired up for some of these, because 8.5, that's a higher score than we've been giving recently. So maybe that is a sign of good things to come. But with that, go over to our Twitter at WS Marvel Comics. Follow us. We'll follow you back. And then go to our website, WeirdScienceMarvelComics.com, to see written reviews for a bunch of Marvel stuff each and every week. Go to our YouTube channel, which is Weird Science Comics, includes Marvel and DC and even manga stuff over there. And then check out our Patreon, patreon.com/WeirdScience, where you can get a bunch of podcasts, a lot of Marvel stuff. Me and my man Matt are talking about Secret Invasion right now in our Crisis podcast, and we're really liking that as well. Except those pages in between issues that have the real life pictures of scrolls with people that freak me out all the time. And even in the last episode, we were contemplating if we were going to figure out, translate the scroll language. I haven't done it. I don't know if you have. I want to see. I'm going to look up some stuff before, because we do that every Sunday. I'm going to look up to see, because we kept wanting to see what the scrolls were saying in it at points, and I swear it's drink more Ovaltine, and we get so pissed off.
An advertisement.
That's all I think it is. Like, read more Marvel books, you son of a gun. But yeah, so if you enjoy the stuff that we do a lot of other things over at the Patreon as well. So check that out. All these links will be in the show notes, but that is it. Thanks for joining me, Matt. Yep. Thanks, everybody, for listening, as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.